We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Please come back in less than 13 years, sir.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Chris, but anyway.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you like what you see, help out. If not, vote for the other guy. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? One of the things I'm proudest of is getting passed, getting moved, getting control of the Paris Climate Accord. I'm the guy that came back after meeting with Deng Xiaoping and making the case that I believe China would join if we put pressure on them. You had people like you had people like the former chairman and leader of the party in Germany. Go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Watch what happened when those kids from Parkland came up to see me when I was vice president. They went and some of you covered it.
So Biden tells this story, or some version of it, a lot. He says that, he went on this military trip and it was dangerous, but he wanted to go anywhere. And he goes to the Konar province of Afghanistan, and he hears about how this man had climbed down into a ravine to rescue a fallen soldier. And he comes back up and he doesn't want to get this medal because he feels so heartbroken that his fellow comrade has fallen. That's about 3 different really heroic war stories, all kind of pushed together into one anecdote.
Joe Biden has made all sorts of statements about his activism in the civil rights movement. Now, in the beginning of his career, he made similar statements that he's making today on the campaign trail, and then he got caught lying. And for a huge chunk of his political career, he stopped telling those lies.
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island. The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is
that's not true. The other one is here.
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night.
His cognitive functions are declining rapidly, and it's sad to watch. And look, I don't want this to seem like I'm very opportunistically trying to focus on anything I can to bring down Joe Biden, because for the duration of this primary, I've been very hyper-focused on policy, on Joe Biden's history of wanting to cut Social Security, his militarism, right? His vote for the Iraq War. So I think that Bernie Sanders is such a strong candidate that I don't need to use Joe Biden's gaffes and cognitive decline to bring him down, because we can win on the policy and the policy alone. However, let's be very serious. That individual who is struggling right now, if he were to go up against Donald Trump, do you think that Donald Trump would be kind to Joe Biden? No, he would make fun of him for that. Do you think that Joe Biden, even if he were able to beat Donald Trump, which I think is unlikely, would be able to govern in a competent way? It would be very difficult. You'd basically have his advisors running the show because, again, cognitively speaking, he is in decline. I think that it's irresponsible for us to not admit that. And while we can't diagnose him, we're not doctors, we can just see. It's very obvious that he's struggling, and it's just sad. The Democratic Party is trying to prop him up and drag him across the finish line because they want to stop Bernie Sanders. But this is sad to watch. It's genuinely sad to watch. He's clearly struggling. And it's not like I'm just putting politics aside. It's hurtful to see this. And the reason why I say that is because this is very personal to me. I have a father who has dementia, and he's struggled with this for years. Sometimes it's something that's, really quick and he gets over it. Like he forgets where he is and then he snaps out of it. Other times it's very serious to where he's driving in a car and he's screaming at the top of his lungs because he thinks that me, my brothers, and my mom are trapped in the trunk and somebody wants to kill us, and he's hysterical. And even when he comes out of it and he realizes what's real and what isn't real, that trauma stays with him. And, you see this gradual decline to where the person that you once knew is kind of fading. And it's really heartbreaking to watch because you don't know how to respond to it. And this should genuinely worry the electorate. And I mean that earnestly. Like, you have to think about this. This is someone who you want to face off against Donald Trump. It could be a disaster. Take a look.
President Obama reportedly told Joe Biden directly, quote, "You don't have to do this, Joe. You really don't."
That is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
I think Biden looked unsteady at many points.
Play the radio. Make sure make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone.
He's not the most polished speaker anymore.
The president my friend from Vermont thinks that.
Watching his long, winding answers that don't really make sense in recent debates has also raised the question as to whether that has gotten worse and whether he is up for this.
The fact is that the bills that the future president here.
There's a lot of people who are concerned about Joe Biden's ability to carry the ball all the way across the end line without fumbling.
Go to Joe 30330.
He looked kind of unsteady and almost deer in the headlights.
So what are we doing? What's going on right now?
He's not that good at this. I mean, he's clearly not that strong a candidate, thinking on his feet.
Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
I think there are some concerns, and they've been expressed by Democrats themselves.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Over whether Joe Biden is equipped to withstand a very grueling campaign.
We choose truth over facts.
Joe Biden was really shaky, both because he was stumbling through his answers.
I'm the vice president of the United States.
And also because the substance of those answers hasn't really gotten better.
Those details are irrelevant.
I think we're going to see growing questions, wondering if he has the mental and physical stamina to get through this campaign.
I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town.
Obama warned Biden's aides to make sure Biden didn't embarrass himself.
Imagine what would have happened if, God forbid, Barack Obama had been assassinated.
Real conversation that is happening among Democrats. Has he lost a step? Is he too shaky?
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
There are definitely moments where you listen to Joe Biden and you just wonder.
And to me, it's sad. It's just so sad to see that. Democrats are so hell-bent on stopping Bernie Sanders that they're trying to prop up someone who shouldn't be doing this, who should be at home with his grandchildren. I mean, I'm not sure what to say, but we're all on the Titanic, and there's an iceberg named Donald Trump dead ahead, and we are on a collision course headed straight towards it. And we're all going to go down with this ship, all because the captains on this ship, the people in charge, don't want Bernie Sanders to take control, to steer us away from that iceberg. That's what we're seeing. And there's an article from the New York Times that interviewed almost 100, I want to say, if not 100 superdelegates, where they said, look, they're willing to demolish the party to stop Bernie Sanders. And Obama did try to warn him, prior to this primary, but he didn't listen because, you don't want to admit that you are kind of losing it, for lack of a better word. That's with my dad. He doesn't want to admit that he has these issues, and he laughs off, these little times when he forgets something or hallucinates, and he still has this in his mind that he wants to restart his business that he had back in the 90s, and you have to intervene and explain to them what's possible and what's real. And for me, I see that, and somebody needs to do that with Joe Biden. His wife or his children need to sit him down and tell him no. They should have done this before the primary, but now we see that this is probably going to come down to Bernie Sanders versus Joe Biden, and he's a real credible threat. At what point does it become irresponsible for us to not talk about this, to not mention what's obvious, what everyone can see, right? It's not conspiratorial to say that Joe Biden is having a difficult time thinking, obviously, and articulating himself. It's not conspiratorial to do that. I don't even think it's immoral. It feels gross to talk about this, because everything is political. And, I'm an opponent politically to Joe Biden, but at the same time, I mean, what are we supposed to do?